All right, let's dive right into this explainer. If you've been following the tech space, you've definitely seen the unending hype surrounding AI. But today, we're going to peel back that polished surface. We're exploring investigative journalist Karen Hao's fascinating findings on the hidden power dynamics that are actually shaping the artificial intelligence industry, and how this aggressive expansion directly impacts the resources you use every single day. I absolutely love this quote from Hao because it perfectly captures the situation. They are selling the benefits of bicycles while building rockets. There is this massive, glaring contrast between the tech industry's utopian public narrative and the resource-intensive reality happening behind closed doors. When they sell us the vision of AI helping with, say, your local healthcare or education, those are the bicycles. But those massive, generalized AI models they are pouring billions into, those are the rockets. They are vastly more expensive, and they demand a staggering amount of our world's resources. Section 1. The AI Empire Analogy. History repeating itself in Silicon Valley. To really wrap our heads around these dynamics, we need to look at Hao's framework from her book, Empire of AI. Her core thesis is that this modern AI empire operates fundamentally on extraction. To build these technological rockets, she argues that these companies are essentially laying claim to resources that do not belong to them. We're talking about scraping creators' intellectual property, taking the private data of everyday folks, and securing unbelievable amounts of land, water, and energy to run these giant data centers. It's a massive accumulation of power fueled by taking what isn't theirs. And Hao draws these direct, fascinating parallels between historical empires grabbing territories and the modern Silicon Valley playbook. Think about the British East India Company expanding its territory through force to extract resources. Hao argues the AI empire does the exact same thing, just with data center land grabs. And historically, empires used religious rhetoric, the idea of civilizing the world to justify their actions. According to Hao, we are seeing a remarkably similar strategy play out today, just swapped out for the promise of a technological paradise brought by an AGI machine god. Section 2. The ethos of expansion. The unending drive for dominance. Now, the engine of any empire is driven by the people at the top, right? So we have to look at their mindset. Take this revealing quote from Sam Altman, back before he was the CEO of OpenAI. He said he wanted to fund 10 times more startups year after year until he funded literally all the startups in the world. Hao uses this to highlight a core Silicon Valley ethos, capturing absolutely everything under the sun. It is not just about building a successful business. Hao suggests it's a deeply ingrained drive to dominate, to monopolize, and to be the single guiding force for all of society's future. And you can see this shift happening in real time by looking at OpenAI's own trajectory. They originally launched in 2015 as a nonprofit, specifically warning about the dangers of AI. But behind the scenes, internal emails revealed a really pressing desire to beat Google, who they apparently viewed as the evil empire. Eventually, according to the author, that drive to dominate totally overpowered the original nonprofit mission, shifting the organization into a highly aggressive, for-profit pursuit of a monopoly. So how do they convince the public to just let them do this? Well, Ha notes that AI leaders frequently rely on an extreme, almost religious heaven or hell rhetoric to justify moving so fast and avoiding oversight. They basically tell us that if we let them build their machine god, they'll deliver a total utopia of abundance. But if we try to regulate them, or if foreign competitors win out, a machine demon will destroy humanity. It is a highly effective, manipulative way to shut down any real democratic debate. Which brings us to Section 3, Exploiting Resources and Labor, the Hidden Human Cost. To keep this rapid growth going, Hao outlines 4 key structural pillars holding up the AI empire. First, securing massive financial funding. Second, controlling the public and academic narratives. Third, dispossessing huge amounts of global data. And fourth, exploiting hidden human labor. If you want to challenge this system, you have to know what holds it up. And right now, we really need to focus on that fourth pillar. Because behind every so-called automated miracle, there is a very real, very hidden human cost. We really need to stop and ask ourselves this question. Why are tech companies creating something that specifically replaces human beings? Hao points out that the industry is making a deliberate, calculated bet to automate broad swaths of knowledge work purely for corporate efficiency. They aren't just building tools to make your job easier. She argues they are actively designing everything machines intended to completely replace the need for companies to hire full-time humans. This creates what has been described as a vicious cycle of enshetification in labor. It starts with companies laying off well-compensated full-time workers to chase immediate cost cuts. Those highly educated, now desperate workers are forced to turn to gig work, like piecemeal data annotation, often for the very same AI companies that displace them. So they literally end up teaching the AI to replicate their own expertise. And the ultimate tragedy? Eventually, they automate themselves right out of the gig work too. Section 4. The myth of inevitability. Who actually controls the future? You have almost certainly heard this argument before. If we don't do it, somebody else will. Tech elites use this narrative constantly to make the public feel completely helpless about the pace of technological change. It paints a picture of absolute inevitability. It's an attempt to strip away your agency by claiming that resisting AI development is just futile. They're telling us we have to accept the job losses and the resource extraction because if our local tech giants don't build it first, we lose the race entirely. But Hao points out that the facts actually contradict this fear-mongering narrative. We're told that if US tech giants don't build unchecked AI, bad actors in China will dominate. The reality? Chinese companies are actively developing and releasing advanced AI models as free, open-source technology. In fact, US tech startups are using those Chinese open-source models right now because they're free and extremely capable. So the whole narrative that we must sacrifice regulation to stop a foreign threat, it simply doesn't hold up to reality. Let's look at Section 5, Communities Pushing Back. The empire faces resistance. It is incredibly inspiring to pivot from fatalism to actual agency, because the empire isn't going unchecked. Look at this staggering number, over $100 billion. In 2025 alone, over $100 billion worth of AI data center projects were stalled in the US. Why? Direct grassroots community protests. Everyday citizens are packing into city council meetings, looking their policymakers in the eye and saying no to these massive resource-draining facilities in their backyards. And guess what? It is actually working. We can see the power of this pushback with OpenAI's video generation tool Sora. Despite all the initial hype, they faced severe roadblocks. Grassroots resistance literally stopped the data centers needed to run it from being built. Wall Street saw this intense local pushback and started pricing in the financial uncertainty. Plus, usage flatlined because consumers just kind of tuned out. It brilliantly illustrates that the public absolutely has the power to shape tech development and force giants to pull back. There's also this amazing, creative example of resistance out of Colucura, Chile. This is a town that was experiencing massive, unwanted data center development, draining their local resources. To fight back, the community created Kale.ai. On the surface, it looked like just another AI chatbot, but it was entirely a protest. When users logged on and asked for text or an image, there were no massive data centers humming in the background. Instead, actual local residents typed responses back in real time, and a local artist hand-drew the requested images. It's this powerful, deeply ironic protest that asks us, do we really need to mindlessly use extractive tech for frivolous things, or can we just reconnect with human creativity? Finally, Section 6, Reclaiming Our Future. Beyond the hype. Karen Hao really sums it up perfectly here. Technology should only ever be advanced in service of people and society. As we wrap up this explainer, it's clear that the future isn't inevitable, and it's not out of our hands. Technology should never be advanced just for the sake of technology. It has to be guided by the goal of ensuring a dignified life for everyone. If it drains local resources and strips communities of agency, Hao argues we have every right to stand up and regulate it. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought to chew on regarding your own agency and the future of work. Will we just mindlessly rely on this AI empire, or will we reconnect with human expertise and our local communities to shape a future that works for all of us? The choice, as we've seen from the incredible real-world resistance, is still very much ours to make.